Welcome back to the Fanigram, everyone, and to another tag video today. Now, before we get started, let's address the elephant in the room. I got a new look. So, my hospital here is actually wonderful, and they give free wigs out to all of the oncology patients if you want them, and I had my appointment about 2 weeks ago. So, I am super curious what you guys think because I have some thoughts. The lady who was fitting me, she actually said that she thought that I resembled Elle from season 2 of Stranger Things. So, what do you guys think? But when I was getting ready, and I think it's the choker. I think it's the choker that made me think this. I got a little Nancy vibes, a la The Craft. Do you see it? Then again, maybe I just look like one of the housewives from Edward Scissorhands after the haircut. But I'm super curious what you guys think. I feel like a lot of people are going to say The Craft just because that's kind of my aesthetic, but I really do want to know. Like, do you see Eleven? Do you see Nancy? But we are here today for a tag, and today's tag is really special because it is an original from my friend Mason in the Dark. And Mason said in that video that everybody should tag me in tags. Don't do that, don't listen to him. But Mason is awesome. He's a really, really funny, sweet person, and I'm super excited to do his tag. Now, this tag is set up like who, what, when, where, why, those kind of questions. So if I phrase one in a weird way or butcher it entirely, you guys know that's just how we roll. So let's get started. All right, so the 6 W's tag. The first W is who. And what I gathered from Mason's videos is like who's got you? Like what literary character understands you? So I think, like most readers, I see myself in a lot of characters. I think you can see bits and pieces of yourself in a lot of things. But I'm gonna go with the sister from The Vegetarian. And I'm not gonna butcher her name. I'm just not, because I know I would. But I really resonated with her. You know, she kind of felt like everybody else can mess up, but I can't mess up. And I really do struggle with that a lot. Like, it's okay, I'm super fine with you messing up. You know, you could screw up all day long, but I can't do it. Right? Or the world's gonna end. That's kind of like the mindset that I usually find myself in. And she was like that. So I'm gonna go with the sister from The Vegetarian. All right, prompt number 2 is what, and it's what makes your particular favorite genre your favorite. Well, we all know my favorite genre is horror. And I would say it's because there are no guardrails. I've said that in a lot of videos in the past. I love the fact that everything is on the table. Nothing is taboo, really. Unless you place those limitations on yourself, which is completely understandable, by the way. But I really like that horror is not afraid to go there. That's probably my favorite part of the genre. All right, prompt number 3 is where. Where in time or space is your favorite setting? Which is a really hard question. I have to say, I really like the late 90s, and it's probably because I grew up then, so I have a really vivid memory of that, but I like those like gritty teenagers living in the city in the late 90s, early 2000s. I really usually have a very vivid picture of that setting in my head. Now, I don't know if you met me on the street and asked me that if I would say it was my favorite, but it is the one that I can most vividly see, if that makes sense. But I think there are good things about a lot of different settings. Like, I love, you know, going into the past, going into other cultures, things like that. But I have to say that, like, gritty, I feel like my people who read horror are gonna know this, that gritty, like, leather jacket wearing teenager from the 90s, you know, I don't know, maybe he has a bad home life and he's living on the street, I don't know. That whole scenario, I always get a really vivid picture of that for some reason in my head. Again, it's probably because that's the decade that I remember. So, yeah, the late 90s, early 2000s. So the next prompt is when, and the way I took this is when you're faced with like a big emotion in a book, you know, anger, sadness, something like that, do you react? Yes and no. Most of the time I react in the same way that people joke about like texting LOL, like laugh out loud, like you're not really laughing out loud, you're more like, right? So I will read something and I'll be like, damn. But, you know, am I like, and throwing the book across the room? Not really, not usually. There's been a few. Notably, the first one that I can recall really affecting me that I did a review on was The Push. And I still don't know if that's just me not picking up on context clues or if it was really that shocking. But yeah, usually it's more like, wow, that's something, you know? And me thinking like, I can't wait to tell people about this on camera, you know, stuff like that. So yes, I do react, but probably not in what you would call a real like fiery emotional way while I'm reading. I save that for the videos. All right, next prompt is why, and this is a big question. Why do you read? Well, as of late, it's kind of an escape tactic. And honestly, I think that I'm in good company there. I think a lot of us read to kind of get away from either the mundane or the bad in your life, something like that. So yeah, I think there's an element of escapism there, but to take that a step further, it's also a way for you to travel outside of yourself. And I don't mean like to go to another country. I mean like to step outside yourself and to live another life. Because, you know, we're only here for so long. We can't live all these lives, but there's tons and tons and tons of lives in books. Wasn't there a saying about that? About how I have lived 1,000 lives because I'm a reader, or how a reader lives 1,000 lives? Comment down below. Do you know what I'm talking about? I feel like that was a saying. So yeah, that's why I read. You know, I want to experience these things, and I know I'm not going to get the chance to experience all of this, so I can do that via a book. All right, and the last one is how. And this one was funny because Mason is a big mystery person, so I feel like this might have stemmed a little bit from that, and he went into that in his video, which I will link down below, by the way. And it is, how good are you at like figuring out a plot? And that's a big deal for mysteries, definitely, because that's like the whole point, right? I would say I'm not very good, but I was thinking about this, and I think when you read in a genre, and Mason said it too, like I'm super guilty about staying in my comfort zone. I like horror, I like the scary stuff. And I think when you read so much in a certain genre, you get to the point where you know these plot points. Like you know what's gonna happen next because you've seen this story before. The characters might be different, the setting might be different, but you've seen this before. Now, does that mean you're good at figuring out a plot? Yes, but it's due to repetition, not to your academic level. So yeah, I can figure out a plot, but it's probably due to the repetition of the genre that I read, not because I'm smart. Alright guys, that is it. The 6 W's tag. And Mason, this was awesome. This was so much fun. Guys, you know, I don't tag people, but if you want to do it, you really should. It's short and sweet. You can knock it out in no time. And I feel like the questions are kind of broad enough that you can ramble if you'd like, and we all know how much I like to do that. So, but guys, if you like this, please hit like, hit subscribe. It would really help me out. And until next time, bye for now.